Everybody, how are you? Peace and blessings. I am IFA Jimini Ray.
I am IFA Tegunshe.
And you were tuned into
the best,
the greatest
podcast
of all time on the whole planet Earth.
Let's talk IFA.
I said, why? Man, how's everybody doing? As usual, we pray everybody is doing well. Out here in this crazy world that we live in. Mm-hmm. Hopefully your ancestors and the Orisha continue to guide you, bless you, and protect you through these interesting times that we are living in right now. That's where we at
times, testing times. We're living in the times where things are very, very testy right now. Very testy.
Uncertainty, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. But, hopefully.
People on the edge.
Yeah.
People trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure things out.
People trying to figure out which way to go. Just trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah. So hopefully your spiritual connection and your spiritual grounding is helping you to navigate, helping you to stay focused and ground you out here so you don't lose it.
Please get your IFA if you lost.
I say.
Find a way to receive your IFA, your hand of IFA, your IFA, your TEFA, something that's going to keep you grounded.
Get that shrine up, get them ancestors going.
And that's going to give you that blueprint so that you're not all over the place out here, because it's not cool being all over the place right now.
Yeah.
This is not the time.
It's dangerous. So, without further ado, today's show is on the different elements of sacrifice and their meanings. I think we said this before. A lot of times, I think people just kind of go through the motions when they go to their shrine, when they're doing their prayers. And it's important to take your time. Like we said, the fundamentals are key, right? So that you don't get caught up in this robotic thing where you just going through the motions and you are forgetting why you're doing what you're doing. What's the significance of it? Got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And, just dig in some,
And when you're making your offerings of whatever offering you giving to your ancestors or whatever offering that you are giving to your Orisha, whatever you giving them, it represents something.
I say.
So when you giving, whatever you giving to them, whether it's a fruit, whether it's a plant, whether it's an animal, whatever it is, each condiment represents something. So you want to make sure that whatever condiment you're giving to your Orisha, that you do the prayer that goes along with that particular condiment.
That you understand why you're giving certain things. What is the symbolic, what's the symbolism? Right. And what is the meaning? What do these things do? What do they bring? Like that, because, when we're saying prayers and we're giving these offerings, right? The offerings that we're giving is like a code. It's like a spiritual code that, I'm giving you this thing because I want longevity. Or I'm giving you this thing because I'm having a problem with people with backstabbers or betrayers right now, or I want long life, or I want prosperity or children or whatever. So, the things that we're offering them have certain connotations and within themselves. There's a code, there's a communication, there's a meaning that's embedded in the offering, in the sacrifice, that brings, certain things. So we just want to make sure that everybody is aware of why they're giving what they're giving and what these things symbolize.
And these particular materials, if you want to call them that, or if you want to call them condiments, however you want to, whatever you want to call it, they are agents of the Eba.
Ashe.
Okay. These condiments that we're about to go through and explain what they are for, these are some of the agents of Eba. They help the Eba to move and move to where it needs to go to.
And I forgot to say this. Thank you for continuing to support us. Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe.
We love y'all.
If you feel it in your heart to throw us, to donate, you got a couple dollars you want to get rid of, the information is on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page. If you have any questions or you need any, a reading or a hand to be filed, whatever, if you want to just ask us a question, you can send that email to letstalkify@gmail.com.
And we really, really, truly appreciate you all. We really do. Because we've been working hard at this.
Yes, so
me and the Babalawo here, we have busy schedules ourselves personally. But we make it a priority to come together to do this. And we've been doing this for 2 years. So it's definitely a sacrifice, and we appreciate you all's energy. We appreciate y'all just taking the time out to watch Let's Talk IFA. You don't have to, but you do, and we really do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, all the feedback that we've been getting, all the constructive criticism from some of our people that, we need that. So we appreciate it. We appreciate all the positive comments that we've got. So we just getting started. Okay, so we just want y'all to, please just keep rolling with us, because this is only going to go up, from here. So the first element we're going to go through today is water. Omi tutu, cool water.
Ona tutu, ile tutu.
And I'll start with a prayer from Ejiogbe, which is where, like the Baba was just reciting. I think everybody, when you first learn, when you're coming into this African spirituality, you get your first prayer or your Mojuba or your Ijuba or your Iba. All of those words mean to give thanks. So your basic prayer, normally everybody learns to start out with Omi Tutu, Ona Tutu, Ile Tutu, maybe Ori Tutu, right? So
Egun Tutu.
Egun Tutu. So Tutu, Omi is water, Tutu is cool. So Omi Tutu is cool water. So that actually comes from a verse of Ejiogbe, where the Omi Tutu, the cool water, Ona Tutu, the path is cool, the cool path, Ona Tutu, Ile Tutu, the cool home, right? That actually comes from a verse of Ejiogbe where it's saying that these were priests that made divination
for those particular
for Oluwere Magete. So I'm gonna say the verse and then explain it, and at the same time, so cool water, we offer cool water for peace, for prosperity, for things to be cool, for things to be calm, for stability, for general blessings of Ire. So it goes Omi Tutu, Ona Tutu, Ile Totutu, dun dun dun, Ona Totutu, ni. Adifa fun Oluwere Magete, Atuju, Aterin, Ile Oluwere Kirbono, Ashe. So, cool water, the cool path, and the cool home were the priests that made divination for Oluwere Magete. Oluwere is one of the Orisha that sit at the bottom of the ocean floor with Olokun. So it says, come rain or come shine, the house of Oluwere At the bottom of the ocean floor with the Lokun is always cool. It's always peaceful. It's always calm. It's always blessed, right? There's always Ire.
Sure.
So may our path, may our home, may our Ori, may our lives be cool, calm, and prosperous, just like the home of Oluwere Magete.
Sure.
So that's Omitutu, cool water. That's why we offer that. And water is probably the most essential element to life and to our connection with spirituality. That's why anytime we say prayer, or we want to invoke the ancestors or any Orisha, there must be water present. And the water has to touch the earth.
And the water, let's remember that, our ancestors were brought over from our native home of Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, the IFA. And they journeyed, over these waters, the Atlantic Ocean, and so forth. So not just to the Yoruba, but to Africans in general, water is a very, very important element because it helps to connect us to the spirit realm, but it also helps to connect us back home.
I say.
And so we pour libation, as the Baba just did. We pour libation and we pray that we make that spiritual connection, not only just with the Orisha, but our ancestors who died, who jumped over the ships to go to Olokun because that was their only way out.
Yeah.
So they jumped overboard and went to beneath to escape the harshness of
rather than to
slavery.
Succumb to that. Yeah.
So water holds is very sacred to the African. Water is very sacred. And so that's why before we begin any ceremony, we always pour libation.
I say.
Omi tutu on that tutu ile, tutu on that tutu ile,
tutu
ori, tutu egungun, tutu ile aye, onile. We do those things because, as we know, water represents life, but it also helps us to connect to the spirit realm.
Ashe. Water no get into me. Next is RT.
RT.
What is RT?
Everybody likes some RT, just a little RT. Some people go overboard with the RT. But RT is a very sacred element when it comes to a bar, because RT represents a lot of things.
And what is RT?
RT is liquor. RT, we can say gin, rum.
It could be wine.
It can be wine, or TSR. It can be a spirit. And that's what it does. RT helps to bring out the spirit, especially during sacred, ceremonies and rituals. People take a little bit of RT to awaken the spirit so that the spirit can get live. But the Yorubas also say, when you go to somebody's house and you see them with a liquor cabinet, they say, oh, this person may have some kind of form of money. They connected to some kind of money because they got a liquor cabinet. They must be doing well. So RT also represents form of wealth, form of prosperity, but it helps to awaken the spirit when we are doing something sacred. We give RT to Eshu, we give RT to the ancestors. So
ancestors love RT.
They can rejoice. So that it's also a form of celebration. when we give RT. And it's also a form of victory too. Because if you notice, when somebody wins something, what do they do afterwards? Let's toast.
Gotta toast.
Let's toast. They always toast. We don't have no RT in here. This is Omi Tutu for everybody. But RT, you know, we use RT during a ball to help celebrate with the ancestors that we may be feeding, that we may be giving offering to, and it's a form of celebration.
Yeah,
I say.
RT is strong. You know, like the Baba said, it also represents vitality, you know, energy, you know, strength. You know, sometimes people drink to get real strong, you know, right, you know. But also good times. It symbolizes joy and happiness and having a good time in the home, right? Because generally, you know, as long as people aren't abusing the RT, people are feeling good, they having a good time. That's how it's supposed to be anyway. So those are some of the
it's power
symbolisms, behind the RT.
Power, strength, and victory. You know, when you take some of that gin and it gets you like
Akbara,
power. You know, it helps you to get ready for that challenge. Whatever your challenges are in life, when we use RT to give to the spirit, we pray that the spirit support us, so that we can gain the victory that we want. And so
it incites.
We give the spirit a little bit of that gin or rum or whatever type of liquor you have that's potent, and then we take a little ourselves so that we can celebrate that with the spirit.
It's also used to invoke or incite a certain energy of response. You know, sometimes with airway, when we're dealing with herbs and sign and leaves, you have to spray
that spirit of that
spray
plant.
the gin or the liquor on it to wake it up. You know,
to wake the
because we're getting ready to do something. So we want to wake up the spirit of the plant or the ancestors or the Orisha or whatever we're dealing with. And then we also, as humans, we take some to wake us up and invigorate us as well.
Our spirit. Even with Ori, when we blow that RT on the Ori to awaken that Ori, because that Ori may need that kind of support. And so the gin is like a spark, you know, to spark it, to wake that spirit up so it can recharge and start to run again.
I say. Next we have Oyin, which is honey.
Oyin dun dun.
So this is everybody's, you know, one of everybody's favorite, of course. Oshun's specialty. Honey, you know, honey represents the sweetness of life. Honey is sweet and very tasty. So honey represents the sweetness of life. The opposite of sweetness is bitterness. So we don't want to be bitter in life. We want to have sweetness. We want our life to be sweet. You know, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Oyin also is used to attract.
I say.
It's used as a form of attracting, to attract blessings to it. You know, Oyin, you know, is to sweeten a situation that may be sour or, as the Baba said, bitter. You know, we use Oyin. Ifa says, you know, honey ends the taste of bitter leaf, you know. So when there's something bitter, we bring a little honey in to balance it out, to balance the situation out, to bring sweetness to the situation. You know, Oyin is a good condiment for Eba because it kind of like it balances all the other condiments out and brings a form of balance.
I say,
you know, to everything. So we always give Oyin so that our life is sweet.
I shall.
Wow,
what are your
And then we have Epa.
The next element on the list, Epa Pupa.
Epa is oil. pupa is red.
It's red.
So red oil, as we know, is palm oil. Right? And so oil, what does oil do?
Mm-hmm.
What does oil do? Oil helps to makes things smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Eshu's favorite is epa.
Mm-hmm.
Epa pupa. And so when we pour epa to the earth, we want our road that we are walking to be smooth, to be at ease.
Mm-hmm.
So we pour epa and we pray that wherever we go in the world, whatever road that we travel, whatever road we travel down, may it be a smooth road.
I say.
And so we give a little epa, we may pour a little epa to the earth, or we may give Eshu a lot of epa so that our roads are smooth.
Benny.
The roads that we walk in is in Ogun, so that our roads are smooth.
Benny.
You know, Ogun is iron. When you put palm oil on iron, think about it. Our ancestors were so smart.
I say.
Because what do they give? What do they put in a car to make it run smoothly? You got to put oil in there. When you get your oil change every 3 months, it's so that the engine can run properly and smoothly. So when we pour palm oil on Ogun, it's so that the iron is smooth, and so that things can work smoothly, so that life can, it makes life easy, and so when we give epa to Eshu, epa to Ogun, helps to make our life easy, helps us to move smoothly through the world.
I say.
Because
think about what happens when you don't put oil in your car. You lock the whole engine up. The car is done. You need a whole new engine or a whole new transmission. So that in itself, that analogy right there explains the importance of oil, of lubrication. Think about it when you don't put oil on your body, when you ashy. Think about how irritating that is. When you itchy and you ashy and you don't have no oil on your body, you don't have no shea butter, no lotion, no whatever you use, so things can also become irritated and agitated and uncomfortable, right, without oil. And the other thing that palm oil does is what happens when you pour oil or palm oil, particularly on a fire. The fire magnifies. Right, it increases the intensity of the flame. So when we pour palm oil to Eshu or Ogun or Ifa or whatever, Gungun, whatever, to the earth, we pray that may you magnify the intensity of our blessings. Just like the palm oil magnifies the intensity of the flame, right? Because we are the flame. So that is, like the Bible said also, just to make things go smoother, as smooth as possible, okay? Nothing's ever gonna be perfect, and there's nobody in this world that just things don't happen to, that just go through every day and everything goes smooth 24/7. Some people have this expectation. We have to get rid of these unrealistic expectations that because I'm an Iwo, or a Risha priest or priestess or a devotee, or because I got initiated, or because I got my hand to be fire, that nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna go wrong ever again in life. And every time it does, it's the witches, or it's Eshu, or I got enemies. And no, sometimes it's just called life. That's to be honest with you.
Yeah, because people quick to say somebody working me.
It's not always that deep. No. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, a lot of times it isn't. Yeah, you're going to go through some stuff.
That's life.
That's the nature of life.
And so that's why we have and we do what we do. Oh, boy.
All right, so the next offering that we are going to discuss is Atare, Guinea Pepe.
Atare.
One of the uses of Atare, give y'all a quick hack, real quick, a little little gem. You can keep a pod of guinea pepper of Atare in your car. That's for protection on the road. But Atare represents, strength. Atare is very strong, so it's essential in a lot of offerings we do with it. Gungun, where we use Atare. First of all, we chew it before you make your prayers. A lot of times women will do 7 pieces of Atare, men would do 9, but people can do whatever you want. But the whole point of it is that it magnifies the ashe of your speech, of whatever comes out of your mouth with your prayers. So it's an intensifier, it's a magnifier, it's for strength. So we use it in our mouth to make prayers, and then we also offer it for those same reasons, when we need strength, when we need victory, when we're trying to wake up and invigorate the ancestors, the Orisha, whatever. And,
Atare is used in a lot of IFA medicine.
IFA medicine.
Because it's used to strengthen and to empower whatever element that you are bringing to life.
I say.
Whatever element you are using to empower to be used for a particular situation. We chew the Atare, we pray. It's a booster it helps to boost the prayer. When you make airball, when we make any airball, we always chew Atare. We take OB. We take Obiabata, Orogbo, Atare, and RT. And that's to help to boost our prayers or to empower our prayers to work more efficiently.
I say.
So Atare is I always tell people, either students I'm working with, make it a habit to take Atare before you start any of your prayer. Make it a habit, before you do any airball, make it a habit of using Atare. Take some Atare, because it helps to enhance your prayer.
Now, with that said, like the Baba just said, this is the disclaimer. When you take Atare, guinea pepper, and you eat it, and you say your prayers, you have to watch what comes out of your mouth. Not only when you're praying, but for the rest of the day. Because you have that ashe, whatever you say, it will be the power of it will be increased. It will be intensified. So you can't chew Atare and then say your prayers, and then after that start talking crazy.
Start cussing somebody out.
Yeah, or talking negatively, about yourself or other people, or start cussing people, or start saying negative things, because whatever comes out of your mouth is going to magnify it. So that's
there's
just
some responsibility when taking this Atare.
I say
there's responsibility. Don't take it, make a ball, and then an hour later you gossiping about the sister around the corner, or the sister within your group. You know, you gossiping about your brother or something, because that's not a good thing. You know, you might end up harming somebody and you don't even remember that you took the atare about an hour ago.
Yeah.
To do some airball, but that atare is on your, it's still in, the ashe is still on your tongue. So you don't want to, you want to be mindful, in other words, throughout the rest of the day, because you've taken atare.
Don't get in your car singing Sexy Red later after you. I'm just messing with you.
You might end up in that. You might end up. You didn't put it on yourself. You done took atare now.
Oh, man.
Now you're singing Sexy Red.
Gotta be careful.
You know, you can't do that. You know,
we just messing with y'all.
It comes with a great responsibility. Bang. I know when you take atare, it's like you got to be very careful afterward. You know, women, don't cuss your man out or start talking about your man after you done took atare, or after you done went over to the EI's house and got some airball done on your man and you took atare. And, you know, like, let's be responsible.
And don't,
let's be responsible, please.
and don't talk bad about yourself. Don't talk down on yourself. Don't cuss yourself, you know. Don't cuss your daddy out. Don't cuss your mama out, your stepmama. You don't cuss anybody out. How about that?
After taking atare, please.
Or not taking atare.
Right. How about that?
So.
Let's make it a habit.
When you do that, atare or no atare, what some of y'all may not know is that when you say certain things out of your mouth, you curse yourself. Because
it's the truth.
Through disrespect, you curse yourself. There's a way to express yourself. There's a way to say whatever it is that's on your mind without being disrespectful, especially to your parents, especially to elders. The next element is ori, shea butter. Shea butter. Shea butter is for, we give that, you know, Batala takes shea butter. Egbe takes shea butter. You know, our ori can take ori. Ori can take shea butter. So it's for, you know, shea butter is, again, it's like an oil. It's a lubricant. It's to cool things down. It's for peace. It's for calmness. It's for prosperity. It's for ire. That is why we give shea butter.
Yeah, ire, ori. I mean, that shea butter is for everything. It's for all ire of life. Ire bogbo, ire lopo lopo. It helps to we use it a lot here in the diaspora for eboleri, or what they call head rogation. When we do it in front of our batala, ori, shea butter is one of the condiments, one of the agents of ebo that we use when we're doing that. Also, when we are making ebo to those lighter orishas, those calm orishas, you know, we also give shea butter. And then, you know, orisha like Ogun and things like that, they can take shea butter as well. But shea butter is good for the ori. It's a good habit to use it when appeasing your ori because it helps to bring that calmness, that ease, you know, just like oil. You know, shea butter helps to make things smooth and at ease.
I say, like, for Batala people, it's a taboo for them. They can't eat a lot of oily food. Batala people cannot eat a lot of sugar or a lot of salt. So in Africa, instead of cooking with the palm oil or different oils, they'll cook with ori. They'll cook with shea butter. If you didn't know, you can cook with shea butter too.
Yeah.
You know, Batala's food, or people on more Batala, they use shea butter instead of the palm oil. The other one that's similar in this vein is also before I move on from that, shea butter is also like a what's the word I'm looking for? You can put different medicines in the shea butter and apply it to your body, because our skin is our biggest organ. So sometimes the IFA medicine can be mixed and applied in the shea butter, and Akoshe or IFA medicine can be applied that way. But the next one is Efun. Same thing with Efun. It's for connection to spirit. It's for to calm things down. It's for peace. It's for element. It's for prosperity. It's a calming element. Purification. Batala is owns Efun.
Yeah, we use Efun for peace, for all peace.
Peace and purification.
Purification, enlightenment, clarity. We put Efun on our Ori to make things clear, to make things light.
I see.
We use Efun to cleanse ourselves with, of negative energy. To remove negative energy. We use Efun as a way of balancing us, bring balance. Even in ancestral rituals, we use Efun because we know sometimes the spirit can be so heavy that we need something light. We need something like Efun to give us balance so that we won't go all the way to the other side. Or that spirit won't totally take over us. So we anoint ourselves with Efun to keep us cool and keep us calm so that the spirit won't be so heavy.
I see. The next element of sacrifice, Eja fish. Orumila, Ifa can take smoked fish. Fish is for several things. It's for blessings in multiples. It's also for general prosperity. Also, so that opportunities don't slip through your fingers, so slip through your hands.
Everyone have experience trying to navigate to a situation or navigate through a situation. And sometimes it may be hard getting through, And so the medicine from the Eja can be used to make headway.
I see.
So when we moving, like the fish moves, the head of the fish is what breaks through that water.
I see.
Right? And that fish keeps moving. And its head is leading the way. And so the fish, the Eja, can be used as medicine to make headway to get through situations.
I see.
And it's also used to, if somebody is throwing negative energy at you or negative energy is coming at you, you can use the Eja as a way of praying that it goes back to the sender as well. Or it goes, you can use Eja to remove negative energy as well. Or to break it.
The next element of sacrifice that we're going to speak on is the rat.
Eku.
Or the giant rat is Okete. It's generally smoked. And we give the rat or the giant rat to, it can go to Ifa, Eshu, certain particular Orisha. So one of the biggest things or reasons that, or what the rat symbolizes, or one of the biggest reasons we offer that is so that it's for backstabbers, to prevent betrayal and backstabbers and enemies that are pretending, that's fronting like they're your friend, but they really not, like that whole thing.
Right. And the rat is also the messenger. So a lot of times when we're making ebo riru, we will use the head of the rat so that, our prayers can go to the house of Ashe.
Ashe, why?
That our prayers are heard, that heaven hears our prayers.
Ashe.
And our prayers can be accepted. So Eku is also a messenger.
Ashe.
An agent that helps to deliver our prayers.
Ashe, why?
To the heavens.
Ashe. The next element of sacrifice, snail, Igbin, is the giant land snail. Again, this is Abatala's house. Snails are used for, they don't have blood per se, but the blood that they do have, there's secretion, like they break the head of the snail and use the snail water or the snail's blood and omiero or different medicine and different mixtures. Again, it's for cooling. It's for peace. It's for calming things down. It's for bringing blessings. It's if it's a hot situation, this is somebody, maybe it's a situation that's too hot. The snail is used to calm things down, to bring peace to the situation or to the person.
And the snail, it's always good to have that element of Igbin around, because the world we live in, everything is fast.
Yeah.
And you need to understand the energy of patience, taking your time,
I see,
moving gently, because it's a powerful thing to have patience. It's a discipline to allow yourself to move gradually.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, or a lot of times, that may come up in someone's dafa. That, you think you on a roll, but Ifa is saying you need to step back and take your time right now. And so what condiments do we use to slow you down a little bit? And so Igbin may come up as an element of sacrifice, as a condiment of Eba that represents you slowing down, you taking your time.
I see.
And so that's why we offer Igbin, to bring coolness, to bring balance to our life.
Very, very powerful. The snail is a very powerful element of sacrifice. Next, we have the kola nut, Obi Abata.
Our favorite.
The Obi Abata is for averting negativities, right? Early death, we want to avert that. Major sicknesses, we want to avert that. Wicked people, wickedness, any adverse situation, all negativity.
Kosi
Bogbo Ajogun. So the Obi Abata, the kola nut, symbolizes averting all negativity. So when you blow on it 3 times, when you pray, say your prayer into that kola nut, the spirit of the kola nut is receiving your prayer and is passing it on through the Orisha up the chain to Olodumare to avert negativity.
And so we say, Obiniku, may the Obi help to avert death.
I say.
Obiniarun, may the Obi help to avert sickness. Obiniejo, may the Obi help to avert litigation. Obiniofo, may the Obi help to avert loss. And so on. You can go on and on and on.
That's what it's for.
And so it helps to avert these things. It helps to avert all the ajogun. forces that may be around. Obi Abata is very powerful. Because it's also used as a tool of divination. Mm-hmm. And so when it's used as a tool of divination, the OB becomes more expressive.
I see.
It becomes more now it becomes a messenger. And so the OB can bring so many blessings once it's used as divination.
I see.
Because we know you can throw and get Obion or Ejife, and that's balance.
I see.
You can get all four up, which is alafia, peace. You can get 3 up and 1 down. That's Iwa. And so that's character. That's not saying your character is bad. It's not even saying you got good character. But you need to manage your character. You can get all 4 down, which is Ishegun, which is victory. Also, here in the diaspora, we would say is the ancestor speaking as well. The ancestors bringing victory, or Yeku. That's a message. So OB is so powerful. There's nothing you can do without OB.
I see.
There's no ritual. You can do ritual without OB, but it won't be the same without OB. So OB Abata is great. It's also good for longevity as well. So,
right. I see. By a byproduct, because if you averted negativity, then you should have long life and longevity.
I share.
And the next element of sacrifice, bitter cola. Orogbo. Bitter cola is specifically symbolizes longevity.
Ashe.
But not just longevity, because in order for longevity to make sense or to be enjoyable, there should be certain things that accompany the longevity. Right? What's the point of having longevity if you're sick? Or if you don't have people around you that love you, or if you poor and you don't have no money and you just, you know what I'm saying? So we want longevity with all array. We want, enough money for us to be comfortable. We want people around us that love us. We want to be in good health. We want to be in a good situation with the longevity. So that's what Orogbo represents. And it also represents, Shango, Shango only takes Orogbo. Shango doesn't take Obi, doesn't take cola nut. Shango takes Orogbo. So Orogbo is very bitter. That's why they call it bitter cola. It's very good for you. Shango, his specialty is helping us to defeat our enemies and our adversaries, including especially the enemies within ourselves. So the Orogbo also represents strength and raw naked power, right? And it promotes longevity and it symbolizes longevity as well.
Yeah, and Orogbo, you can use Orogbo. It really is good for energy.
Yeah, so
you can use
and Obi and cola
nut. You can use
good for energy.
You can use them when you're going out on the road or a trip and you're driving for a long time. I try to make it my best to keep some kind of cola, Obi Abata or Orogbo on me so I can just take a little bite so to keep me up while I'm driving, But it's a good booster for energy booster.
I see.
So try it. Try taking some more Orogbo when you're traveling or some Obi Abata. It helps to keep you up.
The next element of offering or sacrifice, Ogbon, which is the coconut. The coconut water is good for general blessings, for attracting positivity. It's good to use on the Ori. It's also a cooling down, peace. It brings peace, tranquility, and all of those things.
Yeah, coconut, which is OB as well, or Obon, is used as a form of divination as well. You know, it was a time here in the diaspora where we couldn't get Orogbo, we couldn't get Obiabata. And so we used, for many, many years, we used Obon, coconut, as a form of divination, as a form of hearing what the ancestors and the Orisha had to say to us. We communicated with them with the coconut. Now, I've heard a lot of people say it's wrong to use coconut. You got to use Obiabata. And so those are some of the newcomers into the Isheshe tradition. You know, they came in when Obiabata
when it was around.
Orogbo started coming through.
Yeah.
And so, but those who were in the tradition during the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 90s, they understood. They understood what the
early 2000s
Obon represented. Yeah, actually, you know, they understand the importance of the coconut to the diaspora, because it was a time when we wasn't able to get Obiabata and Orogbo.
Yeah.
And still today, you know, you can use coconut as a form of divination.
Yeah.
When I was in Nigeria,
I
seen them use coconut to divine with. To Ori. So I was like, wow, I don't know what people in the diaspora are talking about. I'm seeing, you know, these Nigerians here using coconut to divine.
People need to study more and talk less.
Yeah, you gotta, you know, you use what's in your environment. You know, some people don't have coconuts or Obiabata or Orogbo, so they might use a piece of bark off a tree or something to divine with. As we know, with Egbe, you can use sugarcane, peanuts.
People divine with atare. People divine with Igbin, with the snail shells. Like,
so
people divine with all type of things. So people just need to study more.
Yeah, it's coconut was one of those. Is very important and dear, and holds a place in ritual here in the diaspora. It's something that we still use today, even because we know sometimes Obiabata and Orogbo
may not have it. Yeah, you may not have it.
So you gotta use something. So you know what to do automatically. Let me go get some coconut.
Cowrie shells too.
Cowrie shells as well.
Use cowrie shells. You know.
So we got to broaden our horizon.
Yeah. So
and you know, it's good. I share.
Some people in other parts of the world, I mean, they divine with all seashells.
Right.
It's all, you know, relative to your environment.
Sometimes when I go to Yemonjan or Lokun and I'll use seashells sometimes to divine with, or cowrie shells, you know, to divine. Because I know they're water elements. Those are tools from the water, and so I use those to communicate with the water deities, you know.
So next we have Adie, which is hen, and we have Akuko, which is rooster. So you know, both of these can be used to ward off agents of negativity, you know, of the Ajogun. They have multiple uses. You know, they can avoid early death. At the same time, they can attract whatever E-ray is involved in the situation. It's kind of like hen and rooster are kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Like, you know, they can represent a lot of different things based on the situation.
Yeah. You know, they say Iku do not like to hear the sound of a hen, idea. And so sometimes when we see Iku around somebody, we may use hen or idea as in that ball to run away Iku, to run away death. Sometimes we'll, use it as a sacrifice to run away Iku, but they say Iku don't like to hear the sound of a hen.
Banning.
Akuka is also used for strength. It's also used for victory. We use a rooster. I love to, if I'm doing that ball, I love to use a kuka that's energized or that likes to fight, fighting cock, because we want that client to be able to have victory in that spirit of that akuka to help to fight whatever that situation may be.
Benny.
So, and akuka is also, as you said, is also used to avert a lot of negative energy. Iku, sickness, disease, things of that sort. We use these idea and akuka.
Multiple purposes.
Ashe.
The male and the female goat is kind of the same thing. It's just a stepped up version of that. But if you need a four-legged, that means that the situation is a little more serious and that the spirits, the Orisha, whoever's calling for it, ancestors or whoever, is needing to go up to another level to handle whatever it is that they need to deal with. The he-goat is especially, the he-goat to Eshu is especially dialed in to prevent early death.
Early death, yeah.
But like I said again, the he-goat and the she-goat is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It can be used to repel negativity, to attract positivity, to do all the above.
So whatever, whatever prayers you make over the abuko,
the he-goat,
it would, that four-leg, your situation, as the Baba said, may be a little tough. And so you may need, to use the four-leg, or if I may confirm that, yes, person needs a four-leg, because we need to get things moving a little faster.
Yeah, situation is, a
little tough.
It's a little tough.
Tough.
So it's a little deeper. It's more complicated. It's just a little more complex. It's tough to solve. So now four-legged will come into play as opposed to a fowl or any type of bird, which brings me to one I forgot to write down, the guinea fowl, guinea hen, male, female, etu. Strength, victory, protection against all negativity,
peace.
The
etu is peace. A lot of people don't know because to
bring that
etu
peace
is loud.
It's a fighter.
It's a fighter.
Etu is the guinea fowl is way liver than the chicken.
But it actually represents peace. When you make that ball with
Batala take guinea.
IFA. A lot of Orisha take guinea because the guinea helps to calm a situation down.
Benny.
Keep things cool. And then we have Eyele. Eyele is for prosperity.
The pigeon or the dove, prosperity, peace. Wealth, purification, purity. Morality, integrity, just a realm of Obatala again. That's those type of smaller birds are generally for those types of things. Then we have the pig, belonging to Irete Meji. Pigs have a lot of piglets. They have a lot of children. So pigs represent prosperity and fertility. So it could be children, it could be a business, it could be whatever in your life needs that energy of fertility and prosperity, blessings in multiples, right? So that's what the pig represents. So sometimes Ifa might ask for a pig to be sacrificed. I know that's one of the main Orisha that might ask for pig.
Yeah, Ifa.
Next is the ram, Agbo.
Agbo.
The ram is for victory. You know, it's for Ishegun, for victory over enemies and adversaries and backstabbers and betrayers and just victory in general. It's for victory.
And it's to fight through situations as well. And it's also used, you can use a agbo for health purposes.
The ram, yeah.
You know, the ram, if a person has, you know, their health is on a decline, you can use agbo, the ram, make that ball with the ram to better that client's health that's on a decline, to help give them energy and strength and to help fight through a situation.
That's a really strong sacrifice.
Yes.
You know, Shango likes to take ram. Egungun can take ram. You know, those are just a couple of the popular ones, but that's what ram is for, that victory when there is a very strong opponent or a heavy situation. You know, a ram might be called for.
Yes.
And I think the last thing on our list is the cow.
The cow.
You know, cows is a huge sacrifice that the whole community is going to eat from. So cows are just for general E-ray and general blessings.
All blessings of life.
All blessings of life. To avert all negativity. You know, that's what the cow is slaughtered for. You know, they use the blood to feed the Orisha. And then you eat the meat, you cook the meat, and everybody eats it as a communally, just like any other, you know, just like
celebration, for enjoyment, celebration.
Any other times, you know, after you slaughter an animal, I say.
You know, one of the greatest, you know, a lot of people, you know, I don't know if they understand, but and I really want our African people to really understand that. You know, ebal. What is ebal? Because everybody know ebal as sacrifice or you know, giving up something in order to get something in return, or giving offering, an appeasement to an orisha. But you know, ebal is also when people come together to enjoy each other's time.
Benny.
You know, when you can come together and eat together and sing and dance and worship together, you know, that's one of the most greatest ebals that you can do, because you think about it, everybody is taking time out of their personal life,
sacrifice,
to come together to enjoy each other.
Benny.
That's why we say, you know, when you come together to enjoy each other, why you got people over there talking about somebody? It's like, no, we are here to enjoy each other. You know? And so it makes things more powerful. You know, it makes the community more together. It makes the community, you know, more unified when we can simply come together and not act like niggas, but get along and eat together and make money together.
Yeah, let's not leave that part. I say.
You know, like, be happy.
Just break bread, enjoy each other, and get some paper.
And don't be like, you know, act like niggas and mess up the whole celebration of coming together. But that's one of the greatest sacrifices in African culture and tradition and spirituality. It's not just, I made the ebal. The greatest ebal is when you got more than one person there helping you to make that appeasement to the gods and to the ancestors. And you got more than one priest there. You might have community people that come over and help pray for you. Like, that's the most powerful thing in doing a ritual, because that's what ritual is. Ritual is not just doing something or giving a prayer, or no, it's a congregation of people. That's what I like about the church. Do that. You know, the church, they come together and they pray together. You know, like these are like this is one of the highlights of that ball is everybody coming together.
Yeah, the communal aspect
celebrate
of it.
That
for
person.
One cause, for one reason, for the same goal, we got the same mission, and let's leave our individual selves out of it because the community, right, and the greater good, the children and the community is more important than whatever little, individual beef or issue we might have with somebody. There's a time and a place, you know what I'm saying, to handle everything. And at the bimbe or at the gathering or at the festival or during whatever we doing spiritually, that's not the time or the place to bring that type of stuff up and address that type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's celebration time.
I say,
and
worship.
Yeah.
If you was locked in and focused on the worship aspect, on paying homage and giving thanks, right? Then you wouldn't have time to think about that other stuff anyway. But anyway, that's where we at.
And you don't have to go to a bimbe to find a man or to find a woman. Sometimes when you go to the bimbe just on the strength of just going to worship, you might run into your husband. You might run into your wife. And you're not even thinking about that. You're thinking on the strength of, I'm going to worship. I'm going to give my appeasement and my offering to the Orisha, and boom, you might run into your wife.
That's true.
You might run into your husband. And the mere fact that you've done that there and that happened there, that shows that particular Orisha that you going to appease at that bimbe has blessed you all.
But the whole key to what the Baba just said is that it's your mindset and it's your intention going in, right? Because versus you going in there thinking about finding you a man or a woman, and that's on the top of your mind, and the worship is really like at the bottom of the list, right? That's when you don't get what you're looking for. But like the Baba said, when you go there and you have the intention of, going there to do what you came to do, to worship the Orisha, to worship the ancestors, to give thanks, to worship Olodumare, to show our gratitude, and our thanks, and to worship through prayer, offerings, song, dance, and you come in there with that intention.
Just that intention alone.
You'll stumble, you'll trip and fall onto your husband or your wife. They'll put it right in your lap. But when you go the other way, when you go with that, with finding you a man or finding you a woman at the top of your mind, it's not going to work that way.
Because you're not focusing on the Orisha. You just focus on going there to meet somebody.
Right.
But, when you do those things, it shows that your mind and your heart is pure.
I say.
And so that Orisha, you go into that bimbe to worship, knows right then and there what you need in your life.
Better than you.
Better than you.
So let them do it.
So when you go there, you stumble.
That's the message.
My brother may stumble on his wife. My sister may stumble on her husband.
I say.
Just right then and there, because you didn't go wanting to meet your husband and your wife there. You going, I'm going to praise the Orisha. I'm going to give it all to the Orisha. I'm going to lay it all up and give
the worship.
Thanks.
I say.
And right then and there, they knew what was in your mind and your heart and what you need. And so they bless you right there. It happens.
So, boom. Well, wrapping up, we want to again thank you for tuning in. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. We hope that you learned something and enjoyed the elements of sacrifice and their meaning. I am Awo-Ifa Jaminire.
I am Awo-Ifa Tegunshe.
And you are tuned into
the best,
the greatest
podcast
on the planet Earth.
Let's Talk IFA.
Ashe wa o dabo ire lopo agbo ato asuri wori wofun. Ashe. Peace.